Welcome to Caravan Daily. This is Ghazan Abbas, and today we are talking about a big challenge: fake news. And this issue has emerged as a big challenge for our country as well. A large section of society is affecting with it. So today with us Rupa Jha, head of Indian languages BBC, to talk about this issue. Thank you to give us time for this interview, Rupa. We want to start with how the fake news has emerged as a big challenge in recent years for India.
Yeah, I mean, we all know as journalists and as citizens that how it has become a big challenge recently because it is impacting the way we live, it is impacting the way we interact, and it is impacting. It's altering people's life. It's leading to deaths. It's leading to lynching. It's leading to violence, and that is one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is that how it is also polarizing politically. How the noise is getting bigger and bigger, and it is becoming difficult for an ordinary person to sift through all this noise and understand what is the truth. So I think we all have now recognized how big this is an issue, especially post 2016 when we saw that even American elections, people were talking about how fake news and it was impacting how Donald Trump run his elections. So suddenly it has come up as a big challenge for the media, for the system that we are living in, for democracy, for running up of political system. So it certainly is something which was there, but we have realized it as it is bearing some dangerous results ultimately for all of us.
Recently, BBC has also conducted a research on fake news in three countries, including India. So, what are the main observations of this research?
Yes, you're right. We had a qualitative and explorative research, which means that it is not the final word. We have started the conversation, and we certainly want to engage with all the stakeholders to take it forward. This is not the final statement on the state of affairs. As far as India is concerned, the findings of the research are that most of the time people are sharing messages which is giving them a sense of pride, and they think they are forwarding it, they're sharing it because they are helping in nation building. So in the name of nationalism, a lot of fake news, fake messages are being shared. And the findings are also that the whole spectrum, if you look at, especially of the way Twitter works, it shows that the right-wing ecosystem is much better aligned compared to the left wing. And when I say left, I don't necessarily mean ideologically left and politically left and right. People who believe in certain things and certain ideologies. So on the left side, it's not so well aligned. Fake news spread by everybody, whosoever can, they are doing it. But those who are supportive of the right-wing ideology and those who are supportive of the current disposition, they are able to spread the fake news in a far better effective manner compared to the other side, which doesn't have a well-oiled system. So, it's not reaching out to maximum people. So that is the difference as far as we understand the way Twitter functions. The other finding is that people in India, they are, WhatsApp had initiated this whole forward button that,
Yes.
if you forward a message, it shows forward, and they felt that it is going to curb fake news and people will think twice before forwarding that message, which has been forwarded to them.
And the message to 5 as well.
Exactly. But our research shows that it has actually not impacted. People don't see it as, it is a forwarded message, so I should verify it. People are not looking at the messages with that. The other big finding was that people in India, they are not so concerned about the source of information as they are in Nairobi, in Kenya. The other research was held in Kenya and Nigeria. So in Nigeria and in Kenya, the findings are that people are more concerned about the source of information. In India, people are more concerned who is sending that message. So if it's someone you trust, someone you look up to, then
Or the favor too.
Exactly. Then you are not verifying. You are not going into the verification mode. You just take it on the face value. So it's not about whether it's BBC, CNN, or it's Aaj Tak, NDTV. If it is coming from someone the person trusts or knows or respects, that comes as a confirmed news. So these are the basic findings of the research that we have done recently.
So, if the phenomena of nationalism is the biggest thrust to push the people to spread the fake news, is there any kind of observation in this research that how many people who are educated, especially the youths who are educated, are influencing by this?
See, nationalism is a very complex idea, right? I mean, nation building is a good idea. Nationalism is absolutely fine. But it is how people are looking at this whole idea of nationalism. That is what
And
one
what
needs
is
to
their
understand.
perspective and definition?
Exactly, that is what it is. We have seen in our research that there are different categories of people. So there are like people who believe in the inclusive and diverse character of the nation of India. They may be supporter of the right wing ideology or the BJP, and they would be proud Hindus, but they believe in diversity and inclusivity as well. There are other section of people who don't believe in diversity and inclusivity. They believe that okay, this is a majoritarian country and this is where it should be. So nationalism has to be seen in a wider perspective. It's how people think what is helping them to build the nation. And most of the messages that in the research we have seen, that messages like, oh, UNESCO has said that India's flag is the most beautiful flag, for an example. So a lot of messages are based on that. What really makes you feel proud about being an Indian, being part of this country? Like, you have got the best looking flag, you have the best and the most efficient prime minister, you are the best country. So all these kind of messages, which is helping you to feel good about yourself and your country, those are getting shared mostly. The other interesting fact which has also been observed in this research is that people in India, they are not big in favor of spreading or sharing messages which might incite violence. That is what the finding of the research is, that they are not in favor of sharing things which they think might lead to violence. So it's a very nice contradiction in itself, how people behave and what really makes them share fake news.
But it has also been observed that in recent times, so many killings and the lynchings you also talked about due to the fake news.
Absolutely.
That's basically spreading a communal hatred. So what do you think?
You're right. I mean, that is what I'm saying is what has been the finding of the of the research. But what we also see, because as I said, that it's not a final answer to all the issues around us. What we see as journalists and as people living in this country, we see that how one fake news has led to killings of people, how it has led to communal hatred, and there are examples of it. But what the research says that actually, if only people knew that this is going to lead to violence, they may not like to share it. But what we have seen is that people have shared it because they think that this is something I'm going to inform people. It will be for the better good. Let me inform my neighbor that there is a child lifter in your locality, so beware of that. And that child lifting rumor spreads across, and then you see a stranger. It's all about being scared of the unknown. So if you don't know someone and you see that it's an unfamiliar person, unfamiliar face, you immediately start thinking that that person is an enemy. So I think that is how the psychology works, and we have seen it. We have seen it as as journalists.
Yes. So if the research also reveals that right-wing groups are in a very organized manner widely spreading fake news. It was also mentioned in the report that to make a kind of support to Prime Minister Modi and BJP, how dangerous do you think it is for electoral politics in our democracy?
See, of course it is. It is not a healthy trend. It is not a healthy trend because, but we also have to remind ourselves that there is no evidence to prove that fake news has led to or help people to win elections. There's no confirmed evidence to that. Yes, they do make environment. They do create a lot of noise. And it is not at all healthy for especially for a democratic setup. And therefore, it is very important to recognize such voices, to recognize such trends, and to act against it, at least to make people aware of it. Because what happens that, I think the most dangerous trend is that what misinformation does is that it kind of makes your vision opaque. It doesn't make you understand what the issue is, and then help you make a decision. So that is where the danger lines are. I certainly feel that this is not a very healthy trend to have in a country like India.
Okay, so do you see some kind of impact of this fake news trend on 2019 general elections?
That's a very far-fetched. I think it is.
Any kind of anticipation?
Well, see, our work as a media house, as a media organization, and a trusted public service broadcaster is to educate people, to inform people, right? And that is what we are doing. If while doing that, if people get more educated, they get more informed, and that helps them to make better decision, in a democracy, then our work is done, our objective is served, and that is what we are trying. We really don't know what will it lead to, but I hope that the effort that has gone into making this research, and of course there's been huge backlash and there's been a lot of questions around it, but we stand by our research, we stand by our conclusion completely, and we hope that whether it's researchers, media houses, journalists like you, or students, or voters, that they read it, they become more informed, they become more they start thinking about things critically, and if that happens, then certainly it has played a role.
Okay, one question regarding to curbing the fake news. Recently, government by putting all the responsibility to curb the fake news or on the shoulders of social media companies like Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube and other companies, government is actually escaping from its own responsibility. Do you think that?
Well, I think government can do much more, and the law and order is certainly government's responsibility. And we have seen that whenever law and order agencies, they react to a situation which is generated because of fake news, a situation always gets into control, especially when it is turning out to be a violent situation. So I think law agencies can definitely do much more than what they are doing right now.
It's a huge data.
Absolutely huge data. There can be ways of informing people. There can be ways of putting, working very closely with these distribution platforms, but they cannot be solely responsible for making things and making environment clean. It has to be a collective effort with government along with these platforms, social media platforms.
Okay. Besides these social media groups affiliated to any political party or any political groups, how much mainstream media do you think responsible without identifying the news is responsible for fake news?
Well, I think, a lot of it is because we are doing bad journalism. And there's no substitute to good journalism. If only we knew what the basics of journalism is, and we were sticking to those basics, like, verifying our facts, double sourcing, going out on ground, actually fact checking, and just reporting what is true, what is fact, and not kind of giving our views. Half of it is done, but we know that this has been marred, especially in the media scene right now. A lot of it is not happening. We have cut down on the number of reporters that we have on ground. News gathering has really reduced. It has all become a lot of noise sitting in the studios and just having viewpoints. So certainly we have played our role, and also not verifying and not taking it, not thinking that what it really leads to. And in a media scenario where we still know that television plays a big role in influencing people, television channels certainly have a better and more important role to play in ensuring that whatever is getting reported is actually factually correct.
Okay. My last and the very important question, as we see the challenge of fake news is growing day by day, but we see very few news organizations seem concerned about it. So, what do you think on this, and what should be done to protect the credibility of journalism in this scenario?
Well, I think the biggest threat is to the credibility of journalism. In our research, also, it has come out very clearly that people's trust on media houses has been eroded. They don't trust media houses, which is a shame, because journalism is the fourth pillar of democracy, as we all have read in our textbooks. So it is certainly an alarm bell for a journalist and for us, that we cannot we are eroding our own base. If we are not trusted, then obviously, our
People
role in the
lose
society is nothing. We won't be true to our profession, and to our need. Our need in the society will be finished. Everybody will become like everybody has already become a journalist with a camera in the phone. So this is certainly an issue for media houses to do some kind of inner search and understand that what we're doing, how we are harming ourselves, and especially I think the bigger responsibility rests with the bigger organization, and therefore BBC takes it as a very important has taken a very important position vis-a-vis fake news, because the basis of journalism is to fight against fake news. I mean, if you're doing right journalism, then you're actually fighting against fake news. So we don't have to have a separate department doing fake news, but unless we are true to what we're doing, this will remain a big issue, and we certainly have to commit.
Audience and the readers, common masses are also the stakeholders. What do you want to say in your message so they can always be cautious?
Well, I'll just say be more smart. I mean, you are very smart. You don't have to be guided by, journalists or just by your own emotional urge to share something. Before you share, just think twice. Just think. Use the basic tools of verifying, and know that what goes on. If you share something which is wrong, there's a lot at stake. So let's just all be responsible and smart citizens.
Thank you very much to talk with us, Rupa. You watched at all the important issues associated with the fake news, and Rupa talked about what are the responsibilities of all the stakeholders to curb the fake news, which has become a challenge for the country. So always be cautious whenever you get any content which is not reliable. Please confirm it, do a basic fact checking before forwarding those messages or the content. Thank you very much to watch this interview. If you like this, please share among your friends and your relatives. You can subscribe Caravan Daily's FB page, our Twitter and YouTube channel as well. Thank you very much.